told me what it's like to go through the day. It's incredible. You put the suit on and you have to keep it on for 12 hours. She comes home and she can't go in the house. She has to take it all off in the garage, and then she has to shower for a half an hour and scrub everything, and then hope the little virus didn't, the invisible enemy didn't jump somehow through the suit and infect her, and then in turn infect her whole family. It's amazing what they're going through. But can I just give them some advice? I'm going to give my friends, the nurses, some advice. Is don't no more of the little dance videos. No more of the little TikTok dance contest.
Oh, it's so
the little,
fun.
Danny Dario. I mean, that's, to me, I guess you got to blow off steam, but I don't think it's a good look. And I guess you got to know you agree with me, Turtle Boy. Most people would disagree and say, oh, you can't criticize nurses. I'm not. I'm criticizing choreographers in this case.
You're referring to the videos, those cute little videos you've seen in the hospitals of nurses dancing and whatnot?
Yeah, there's one where they have pillows and they put them in their ass, where their ass, and they stick out and then they shake their the pillow ass.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
And apparently, again, they're working their ass off all day and night. In most places, in other places, as we know, they got nothing to do because, again, it's this blanket policy where they've loaded up, preparing for coronavirus cases in across the country, in New York, obviously, in Boston, and in D.C. and Detroit and New Orleans. They are overwhelmed by all accounts. But at other places, we talked about this yesterday. I tweeted about this hospital in Oklahoma City that is closing down because they got no business. People aren't going in for elective surgery. They aren't going in for their annual checkups. They were preparing for the wave of coronavirus cases that never came. So it's not the same in Middle America. It's not the same in Oklahoma City as it is in Jersey City.
No.
I don't know why that's so hard for people to grasp.
So they can do their TikTok videos.
Yeah,
they got time over there. Go to town over there.
That's true. But I know. I'm not going to say they don't deserve a little free time, blown off steam, have a little fun, whatever. But it's just a weird look. And I wonder if I had a relative in there, if they're saying, "Are you? Are there people down the hall dying when you're making these TikTok dance videos?" It's just a strange.
I mean, in fairness, with the argument against making those videos, oh, well, that could be from another unit or another wing, or they're just having a lighthearted moment. It's like, but you're missing the point. We literally shut down our entire freaking society for you, right? Because the whole premise of this is that we don't want to overload the hospitals. We don't want to send too many people in there at the same time, and that's allegedly what this disease would do. So we social distance and we quarantine them, blah, blah, blah. And then you're going to put a video like that out there? Like, have you no optics? Do you not understand how bad that looks?
Hear me, you two dummies. It's just a dancing video.
It's so cute.
It's a weird
Dave, it reminds me of that video, Dave, during 9/11, when those New York firefighters, they went on the AOL chat room and they did a little video of themselves dancing. Remember that?
Well, yes. But
Oh, wait, no, that never happened. No.
Sure,
Okay, gotcha.
sure.
Just making sure.
This is a different world. All right, they're just
Right.
trying to pass the time. They're posting something on the internet for 2
Don't
seconds.
don't do that. How about don't do that? You do not have to do that. Why are you acting like you have to do that?
And maybe it is the Oklahoma City Hospital. Maybe it is some place in rural America where they have nothing to do. But it is a strange reflex to say, you know what we're going to do? Take a little break from saving lives and dance. And not just dance, by the way. You have to choreograph. You have to get all on the same page. It's a strange look. I don't think it's happening at Mass General or at, the front lines in New York City as much as it is somewhere else. I mean, I think some of these videos are from Europe, where maybe they're not overwhelmed. It's just a weird...
I know it shocks you guys, but there's a segment of the population that wants to wake up in the morning during a crisis and smile and maybe watch something and laugh a little bit.
That sounds terrible.
That's why you watch, Nancy Pelosi with James Corden. I don't know if you guys saw that.
That's hilarious.
James Corden has Nancy Pelosi go through her $12,000 Viking refrigerator and show him all the ice cream that she eats. This high-end ice cream that costs $12 a pint.
That fat bastard was about to have an orgasm on the air when he was watching that. Holy cow. Jesus, James. No more ice cream.
He said that's why he always liked her. I'm not sure why she's not 300 pounds because she said that's her vice is this ice cream, and the fridge was stocked.
She got torn up for
it
that.
it is hard to believe that she can make it through the day quarantined in that house. She lives in a palace in San Francisco. She's worth like $500 million. Her husband's wealthy. She's obviously been stealing with both hands for decades in public office. She's doing okay. And when they finally do come back to DC like 6 months from now, she'll get on a private jet and she'll probably be eating that ice cream the whole way to DC. It is my rule that I had from 3 weeks ago. I said, if you're going to listen to someone tell you, don't go to work, don't go outside, don't walk, don't run, don't play in the park. It can't be someone like Nancy Pelosi or Arnold Schwarzenegger or whoever, a Kardashian. Can't be someone like that whose idea of quarantining is to sit in their hot tub while some servant serves them Haagen-Dazs. You can't. They have no credibility on this issue, on this subject. It has to be someone who can legit feel your pain. Do you think Nancy Pelosi gives a shit about the truckers in Michigan?
That's her big base, Jerry, the Michigan truckers. They're the big, right. Up in the San Francisco Bay Area, there's a lot of concern for truckers. No.
God knows the Governor Whitless.
Oh, God.
I don't think she's...
No, her name is Governor Karen. Get it right, Governor Karen.
The Karen.
And she's going to be the vice presidential nominee, Jerry. You know that, right?
She is not. Well,
yeah, she is.
I don't think this is helping her candidacy. I really don't.
I look at her mentions. Anytime she tweets something out, wait till you see all the morons on there, the sheep that just blindly say, and they outnumber us, Jerry. We're in a minority here, you and I. They outnumber us, and they're saying every time she tweets out something, thank you, Governor Whitmer, for keeping me safe. I was going to die before you tweeted that out, and now you're telling me to stay home and I'm going to live, so thank you very much. Oh, I love you. She's going to be the vice president. I'm telling you.
Here's the problem, and I said this yesterday with Shattuck, is that I think on the surface you say, sure, they're just trying to save lives. They're just trying to help us. But and that's what we, lots of people, the majority of people initially thought. They thought like Cohen, just tell me what to do and I'll do it.
I want to live.
But that I don't think that works after weeks, months. I think people have first of all, they get stir crazy and they start climbing the walls. Secondly, they start saying, why am I doing this? Tell me why. There are more people every day asking why. And that happened. This is what happened in Michigan. They reached a boiling point. People said, over the last week, she kept cracking down with more and more orders. You saw the stories where you can't buy seeds in Michigan. Those have been deemed non-essential. You can't buy a baby car seat. You can't buy a toy. You can't buy an American flag.
By the way, on that note, I haven't seen the video. Matt Walsh just tweeted out 10 minutes ago. Says that Whitmer put out a video that says, "quote We're cracking down on people planting." I haven't heard the quote yet.
I didn't see that.
Yeah.
We got some sound from Governor Whitmer. We were playing it before we came on here, but she is showing no empathy, sympathy for these people who are out of work, who can't pay their bills, who can't understand why they can't go to work in many cases. That's what this protest yesterday was all about. It was pretty impressive. I was getting taking some grief on Twitter because normally, when people protest, I'm like you, Turtle Boy. I mock them, I ridicule them, and mostly it's because they're the opposite of these people. They don't work. I mean, the protests, those allegedly Black Lives Matter protesters that sat down in traffic in Boston a couple of years ago and stopped people from getting to work. Those are people doing the exact opposite. They don't work. They don't want you to go to work. They want to disrupt society. Yes. The people in Michigan want to get back to work.
Yeah.
They want to get back. They want to make society run again. These are the kind of people they are. You saw them. They were blue-collar people who are frustrated. They don't want a $1,200 check. They want their job back. And this tyrant, this governor in Michigan, this authoritarian, doesn't care. She's like you listen to me. I mean, the craziest one, they came up with a million new regulations. I think it's bad in Boston, where we have a curfew and we have a mayor who insists we wear masks if we step outside our house.
Except
in
for
New
him.
York,
Yeah.
Except for him in New York, that's the new rule. You can't go outside without a mask. But in Michigan, you can't go from one residence to another. She said going between residences, even if you own them both, like if you own a home, a lake house or something, you can't go there. It's against her fiat, her edict, her decree, that you can't like go to your neighbor's house and go in it.
I'm telling you,
that's a new law.
Insane. It's absolutely insane. You just have to ignore it. You have to do whatever you want. Come arrest me for it. I mean, it's like, and it needs to end. I mean, these people don't understand. Like, oh yes, it's all in the name of public safety. Like, we debated this on Easter, whether or not we should go to my freaking mother's house. And I'm like, we're going to my freaking mother's house. We're not going at Easter because I'm afraid some Karen out there is going to take my picture.
That's how, man. I would say you have to. I don't even know how old your mother is or how vulnerable she is, but that's your only thought. If you're one of these people who's saying, should I follow the rules? If the rules endanger the older Americans, elderly Americans, obese people, people with diabetes, people with underlying conditions, then don't do it. If there's no threat of that, like in Michigan, if you want to buy a toy for your kid.
So what you're saying, Gerry, is that
they put the yellow tape around it and you can't do it. And she defends it. You can't buy seeds to plant a garden in the spring.
Isn't this kind of discriminatory?
Crazy governor defends that.
What if you're into fat chicks? You have to be celibate this whole time? Is that what you're saying?
I don't get it. What do you mean?
So like the morbidly obese are more at risk, correct?
Morbidly obese are dying yes.
So if you're into fat chicks,
you know what, Turtleboy, you're pretty good at
Yeah.
It's talking about things other people don't want to talk about. People don't want to mention this.
Yes. But let's go there.
People who are under 70 who are dying, oftentimes they are obese. Oftentimes they are vulnerable because they have diabetes. And those are people we must protect. We must protect.
So if the idea, Gerry, is that you're more likely to get it that way, what if you're a guy who's into fat chicks? It's bold, brave, and beautiful. It's a great thing. Should you become celibate throughout this? Right? Because isn't that discriminatory against big ladies? Now they're not going to have have sexual opportunities.
I would say, buying seeds or walking your dog after 9 p.m., those will not endanger you. But if you go and, I don't know, where do you find fat chicks? There's no bars that are open.
Well, where do you find fat chicks? Is that a real question? Oh, that's true. You can't. It's true. They closed Denny's. It's so.
Okay, those are closed. That's my point.
Dr. Fauci said yesterday that you could risk it if you'd like to. If you're willing to risk it on Tinder, it's okay to. You just got to weigh the consequences. He said yesterday. So
so he actually talked about that.
Which is he didn't talk about chasing fat chicks.
No, he didn't talk about
Denny's is closed.
He should have said, hey, if you want to do it, but just don't do it with fat chicks.
That's great advice.
Golden Corral is closed.
Great advice. That's true. Golden Corral's closed. How are you supposed to get dates? What are we supposed to do out there? Trust me, there's guys that are into that. I have a couple buddies that it's like exclusively heavy hitters, and that's great. That's wonderful. They need loving too. This policy seems discriminatory against them.
I don't know where you go if you're into, like thin chicks. I mean, I don't know where you go.
Who isn't into thin chicks?
Every bar's closed. Restaurants are closed. You can't go to a dating.
What does that mean? How are you into thin chicks? Who is it? You can't. It's like saying a woman that's into money. Go ahead. Sorry.
Is this your thing?
Yes.
Is this your thing?
Yes. Go ahead. I apologize.
You're out of luck. Fat chicks, thin chicks, it doesn't matter what chicks. You can't go to yoga class. You can't go to the gym. You can't go to Soul Cycle. You can't go to a restaurant, an ice cream stand. You can't go anywhere. Okay, so you're out of luck. Face it. I mean, you can't do it. The governor of Michigan said, no more, chasing tail. That's out. That's against the law. Here's what's going to happen. People saw what happened in Michigan, and they're going to do it all over the place. Not here, the home of the Boston Tea Party, which took place like half a mile from where I'm sitting. Oh, that's out. In Boston, we obey our masters. We obey our mayor. But in Midwest, in Michigan, we saw it yesterday. You're going to see it in Kentucky. In North Carolina, we saw it. These people in North Carolina protested a couple days ago, and they kept their distance. They were 6 feet apart. Some of them were wearing masks. They were not shaking hands. They know the rules and they followed them. They were still harassed by the cops and the local officials. Those are the ones who said your rights. What did they say? The protests are not
The
essential.
protesting is a non-essential right.
And here's what amazes me, Turtle Boy, is how many people saw that story, like you and I did, read that story, and said, "Yeah, I agree. It's not essential. Why do you have to protest?" The magnitude of the ignorance there should frighten us all, but it doesn't seem to matter to most Americans. To this younger generation, they just look at that and say, "Yeah, dude, man, stay home or whatever." Don't you know? Haven't you watched Tiger King yet? Or why don't you play a video game? The idea that a local official, was it the chief of the police or was it a cop who said?
It was the Twitter account. Whoever runs the rally Twitter account.
No, but who said it? That they don't say it. The cops said it.
Yeah, like the cops wrote it on Twitter. That was a response to a guy who said, "Can we not protest?" And they said, "Protesting is a non-essential right."
Which is amazing,
yeah.
and everyone just goes, "Yeah, whatever." And in Kentucky, when they busted a drive-in church, people didn't even get out of their cars, and they busted them and gave them citations, and they busted the pastor who was holding the service. They said that your rights have been suspended.
Yes.
Your right to, your First Amendment right. That's the First Amendment. That's the most important one. That doesn't matter anymore. And all these.
If only the British knew that it was this simple. You see people in Boston Harbor throwing tea off the boat. You just say, "Guys, throwing tea off the boat is a non-essential activity. Please return to your homes." If only they realized it was that simple, they could have crushed the revolution right there.
I know it was they left that line out of the Bill of Rights that footnote with a little asterisk that says all these things are suspended if there's a virus.
Yes.
If there's a virus that comes from China, you no longer have the right to practice your religion or assembly or speech or the Second Amendment, which gun stores aren't essential. Buying a gun's not essential, but buying weed is. It is a crazy time, and I just feel like the tides. We knew this was coming. The tide is turning. We knew people were going to say, "This is nuts. I don't have a paycheck coming in. My small business is going under. I'm trying to apply for unemployment and I can't because the system has crashed."
Yeah, can we talk about that for a moment? The fact that the government is making people shut down, and I haven't got my stimulus check yet. Cullen, you get yours yet?
I have not gotten mine yet. No.
Okay, so and there's these goddamn PPE loans, right? So people like me that are employers, technically, I own a business. You're supposed to be able to apply for these loans, and you get money depending on how many. You get like 2.5 months of payroll or something like that, and it's a grant. It's a loan, but they forgive it as long as you didn't blow it all on TVs and stuff. So the problem is that the IRS isn't distributing the money. Banks are. So remember, banks are. So you got to call your local bank. Well, guess what? All the banks ran out of the money. Why? Because the employers that had 485 employees, because you have to have under 500, they ran to them first and they said, "I need a $20 million loan." And then they give it to their buddies first and the money's gone. So
what did you think was going to happen? Did you think this was going to run smoothly and everyone was going to get their money and it was just going to stimulate?
So this one's on Trump, correct, Gerry? I mean, there's no one to blame but Trump, right?
Well, I would say Trump, sure, and Congress, absolutely. I mean, the Kennedy Center got their money, and they laid everyone off.
They did get their money.
The National Endowment of the Arts got their money. I mean, the whole thing was just so corrupt. The whole idea that we're going to take $2.5 trillion, and I'll say it again. Here's how you know how what a scam. Here's how you know how corrupt the thing was. The money that they spent allegedly on this whatever it is, third stimulus bill, relief bill, 2 point something trillion. They could have taken that money and given every adult of working age, something like 160 million, everyone, you, me,
Yes.
every one of us, $13,000 each.
Damn it.
That's what they could have done.
That would have been way
Instead,
better. Yeah.
Instead, it's going to banks and allegedly to loans. And who knows where it's going? Illegal aliens. Who knows? It's going, whatever. It's going to the Kennedy Center and the National Endowment of the Arts and freaking Planned Parenthood. I don't know, but I don't even expect it to work. I don't expect it to be on the level. I expect it to be one big boondoggle. You know it when you see some of the things that, Nancy Pelosi wanted to spend it on. You know that they're thinking, we can pretend this is for, the workers and unemployed people and their families, but we are going to take care of our,
Yep.
our little special interest groups. You knew it was going to be a scam. I can't believe you ever thought it was legit.
I mean, well,
people.
yeah, I mean, shame on me, I guess. I guess I put my faith in the president and it was misplaced because I have not gotten a dime yet. And I figured, there's no way they can force everyone out of work and then not pay you. Like, they need you sucking off of their government titties or else they're going to be like, the people will revolt. And I was wrong. They will do that. It is exactly what they've done.
In some places, not everywhere. And, obviously some places like New Jersey, New York, Boston at this point, where we're saying, I gotta, until, we flatten the curve, until we get through this portion of this wave, I gotta do as I'm told. But like you and I, we just talked about this before we came on here. In Virginia, this vile man, this governor
Coonman, Governor Coonman,
yeah. This vile racist. He's extended the stay-at-home order. I'm looking at the story right now to June 10th.
June 10th,
right?
yeah.
June 10th. By my math, that's almost 2 more months. People in Virginia, and I realize, in Northern Virginia, everyone there works for the government. They don't care. This is just another vacation for them. But the people in rural Virginia, the people who own small businesses, the people who work for a living are going to lose their minds. The protest you saw in Michigan, that's the first shot in this little revolution, the first uprising. There'll be many, many more because these governors, these mayors, many of them have no interest in lifting any of these orders. They have no interest in appearing to be on the side of the private sector, on the side of the small businessmen. They want to be, panic mongers. They want to be like Cuomo, who up there and in control. They want to be the one coming down with orders. They want to be the one that appears to be fighting the hardest against the virus. Everything else be damned. Then do you think that Governor Northam spends 1 second of his day worried about, working people? I mean, his whole life, all he cares about is, abortion and other, left-wing causes. He's not going to give a shit if people go back to work, if the economy suffers. I mean, that's not his mindset. It's going to get crazier. Like
Jerry,
what we saw in Michigan. We're going to see it everywhere.
If I see one more goddamn commercial with the sappy music in the background, play with the piano, just playing the same key over and over again, and then they showed the healthcare worker on the other side of the window with her kids on the other side, and they're pressing up against the glass, and they say, "We're all in this together." And it's a goddamn Apple commercial because Apple is probably making bank off of this because we're all using their products like crazy and they're an essential company. No, we're not all in this together. Shut the hell up about that.
Every purchase you make is going to go to some relief fund.
It's like worse than 9/11 when it comes to that. Every company is going to be showing you how much they care. There's one with Kellogg's now. The Kellogg CEO talking about how we're all in this together, and it just shows a bunch of people eating cereal, and we're here for you. And I've seen it already like 75 times. Every company, and I'm like you. I look at it and I say, is that company benefiting here? Like you said, Apple or Amazon or Netflix or whatever. Is that company benefiting, or is that company really legit hurting? And most of them obviously are hurting, but some aren't. Some are doing great for this whole thing. Some are benefiting.
And you know what? A listener asks, "Do you know, Turtle Boy? You have kids? Do you want to take a chance? Yes, I do. I don't know how you guys feel. If restaurants,
I hate that. Okay, first of all, your listeners are sending you questions, correct? I'm not sure why we can't all do this together, and I can't see the questions too. But
oh,
why
you
don't you do
can.
that?
You have access to YouTube.
I got like six. I literally have two computers, a TV, and a phone in front of me. How should
Any
I do
one of
this?
them can play YouTube. Oh, they all have YouTube.
And then when I get on YouTube, what do I look for?
Turtle
Just
Boy Sports, and the stream will come up. And,
Oh, I didn't even know you were doing that today.
oh yeah, I just threw it on. You
Oh,
know, whatever.
all right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just threw it on, and because I mean, so to answer that question, I hate when people ask that question. It's a stupid, terrible question. Find a new stream. You're not good. So I would tell them pretty simple. Yes, of course I would go out. I'm not worried about my kids getting coronavirus. I'm not worried about myself getting coronavirus. If I get it, I'm probably gonna live anyway. I don't really give a shit. I'm not. If all the restaurants opened up tomorrow, I would be going out to dinner tomorrow. I don't know how you guys feel.
You are in the minority.
Okay, that's fine.
I know that's because he reads, he understands.
No, it's not about reading. This is about talking to people. This is about talking to your friends, talking to family, talking to people on the street.
What are you talking about? Your friends are the ones who educate you on this?
No, you can. I get what he's saying, that he would not go out. I'm saying he would go out. I'm saying a lot of people, they are reading and they're still not going out.
But Dave, isn't that their choice? Isn't that the whole point of freedom?
Yeah, it is their choice, but they are scared because, even like I said yesterday, even when this all gets back to normal, they're not going to the restaurant. They're not going to go to the grocery store, and even if they could, it's going to be 10 people.
They're not going to go to the grocery store.
But they are going to the grocery store. I mean,
I go to the grocery store all the time now.
Like they're going to go less, like Dr. Burke said. They're going to stock up when they go every time. They're not going to go like I used to go every day based on like what I want to eat that night. They're not going to be like, I'm not going to do that anymore. Let's put it that way.
Good. There'll be less crowds at the grocery store because I will. See, here, you're Turtle Boy. We have a living, breathing example of it here, right here, who just wants to be told what to do.
Yeah, he's a good boy.
To me. It is frightening to me. I'm with you. I'm with you. Okay, it's my turn. My turn to talk. Let's take turns. We don't have I can't look at you. We don't have the technology to be looking at each other. We can't sit together. Let's take turns. Turtle Boy is 100% right. Most people, like most American, this is un-American to say, I will be in my basement. Let me know when I can come out. And the more people read, the more they understand that's not how you stop the virus. That's not how you save lives, by keeping healthy people like Turtle Boy, who's in his 30s, in his house. Turtle Boy might get the virus, and if he does, he'll be fine. His kids might get it. They will be fine. It will not hurt them. It will not kill them. It might kill his grandmother. That's why he has to stay away from his grandmother. That's how simple it is. You quarantine the vulnerable. You stay away from the vulnerable. As sad as that might be, and we all see the guys in there, looking through the window of their nursing home and wishing their grandmother, a happy 100th birthday. That sucks. But that's how you handle this. You do everything you can to protect the vulnerable. You, Turtle Boy, you, Dave, you aren't vulnerable. Your kids aren't vulnerable. It's ridiculous that they're hiding inside from this invisible enemy. They should be outside, and they should be going about their lives.
My other hero is quarantined because he has COVID-19. He's been in his basement for 2 weeks, and his wife just got it last night, and his name is Chris Cuomo, okay? So I think...
Okay, so let's talk about Chris Cuomo. He's also assaulting people again. He's having another freak out. Did you see that on the biker?
Yeah. Yes, I thought I was going to side with Chris Cuomo. I am not. I'm with the Fat Tire Biker. The Fat Tire Biker's a nosy asshole.
He is.
Because he gave Cuomo crap for not quarantining, but Cuomo's brother is the one who insists we all do this quarantining. Cuomo's people, they're the authoritarians. Cuomo was out in public and he wasn't quarantining and he wasn't distancing, and now what? His wife has it.
Yeah, and Gerry,
so what? His wife will be fine.
So
what?
This idea that we're all in this together. We're not. Shut up. The people like Chris Cuomo are the ones telling us that.
How do we know he wasn't distancing? Distancing at this point is just like 6 feet away from each other, right? Like, isn't that basic?
Well, first of all, that's what the Fat Tire Biker guy said. Secondly, I don't see why you have to distance from your wife. You've been with her in bed. You've been with her for days and days and days. By the time you test positive, and if you were going to give it to your wife, you already gave it to her. The idea that suddenly after you test positive, you stay away from your wife seems like overkill. But the Fat Tire Biker guy who confronted Cuomo confronted him because he didn't think Cuomo should be out in public, and he was on his own property, but he's with his family, and he gave him a hard time. Now that sounds like a nosy asshole. The guy's 65 years old, and believe me, I don't want to hang out with him, but Cuomo would do the same thing. You know he would. Cuomo would be a Karen. Cuomo would be a neighborhood narc if the shoe were on the other foot. So screw him. Screw him. Anyway.
He's such a meathead. He he just wants to go around fighting people all the time now. Ever since that Fredo video came out and it was well received, this is his new thing now. I'm just gonna, hey, just because I'm on CNN don't mean that I won't throw down with you, okay? My name's Chris Cuomo. I'm Italian. I'm from New York at heart. You don't get to talk to me like that just because I'm on CNN. You know, same guy, new hood. You know what I mean? I mean that's
right. And he wants the freedom to do that. He says he doesn't want to do his job anymore because it doesn't give him the freedom to confront people and fight people. And all you need to know about Cuomo is he posts a video of himself working out, Instagram videos of him lifting. And,
he's not even
tells you how many sets he did on the bench. I mean, if that's not the biggest hardo move of all time, if his father weren't he didn't have the name Cuomo, he wouldn't have anything that he's got right now. He'd just be another meathead. He'd probably be working at fucking Walmart right now, and no one would give a damn who he is.
Yeah.
But anyway,
now, has the porn industry shut down, Jerry?
Chris Cuomo's 49 years old. He's okay now. He didn't die. His wife isn't going to die. Why does Chris Cuomo? But why is that so frightening?
His wife didn't know she had it. She's going out to the grocery store. Yes, she's taking all the precautionary measures. Maybe she's wearing a mask. She's wearing gloves. But just something could happen in your world where you just want people to get back there. If she's in that, if she's going out there in public and potentially spreading it to other people, obviously that's not going to flatten the curve.
So you're saying some elderly person is at the grocery store? They shouldn't be. They shouldn't be there. Is some obese person at the grocery store? They shouldn't be. Those are the people who are in danger.
Some normal person is going to be there that, yes, they likely will get over the virus based on everything we're reading, but they're going to spread it to somebody else who likely will get over the virus. It's just going to keep going and keep going. And obviously it's going to spread to people that at some point have an underlying health condition that
So I assume then your solution is to do nothing until there's a vaccine in 2 years, right?
He loves it. He loves quarantine. We should call him Dave.
I don't love quarantining. I just want to get through.
Dave, they're calling you in the comments right now, Quarantine Cullinan. I think we should call you Dave Quarantine. I mean, you're loving being quarantined.
Yeah, but I don't understand that what you just said. Cuomo's wife going to the store and infecting. That's going to happen whether it happens now,
I'm listening
3 months from now, 6 months from now, 8 months from now, until there's a vaccine.
I get it.
There's nothing you can do about it.
You're right, and there's not reality for me to sit back and wait for the vaccine. I just want to get past the surge moments, right? What's Massachusetts? We're in Massachusetts. They said what next week is probably.
No, it's 2 weeks. It's always 2 weeks. 2 weeks. 2 weeks. 2 weeks. Just wait 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Well, what does it matter? The surge moment. If there's no vaccine, then Cuomo still has it. His wife still has it. She can still spread it. If you stay home, you want her to stay home forever? Because your solution is stay home forever until this is gone.
It's never going to be gone.
It's not going to be gone.
Yeah, it's never going to be gone. We have to find a way to live with it.
And I don't think anybody who is telling you to stay home and just listen to the mayor, listen to the governor, those people, especially if the ones on TV, the politicians, they're risking nothing. Again, Don Lemon is risking nothing. Nancy Pelosi is risking nothing. Her check's still coming. Her retirement's still going to, she's still going to retire with $500 million. She still has a private jet and a Viking refrigerator full of ice cream. Why do we have to listen to her? Why do we have to listen to Governor Whitmer or Governor Baker or any of these people who are risking nothing? The guy, we should listen to those people in Michigan who stormed the State House saying, I got to get back to work. Or the people, have you seen the lines at these food banks? There's people waiting in line 2, 3, 4, 5 hours, for some food at a food bank. You think those people want to just stay home, stay locked away for 6, 8, 10 months until there's a vaccine? That's madness. I can't believe any intelligent person thinks that this makes sense, that shutting down
Jerry,
the economy, going into a Great Depression is worth it.
You know what, Jerry, this is a Bernie boner, what's happening right now. I'm doing a blog on this later today. There's some Facebook page I found in Worcester of people just asking for handouts and stuff like that. And there's people on there who are on SSI. They're like, I'm on SSI. When do I get my stimulus check? It's like, how about never? You're on SSI. You just said, why should you get a raise from this. Like they're loving every single
And
minute of this.
How many people are going to ask? $1,200, and then again, do the math. If they gave everyone with their fair share, every working adult, not people who made less than 75,000, not people. If they give every working adult, we should all get $13,000 if they weren't busy paying off, special interests, and then maybe maybe it would stimulate something. But all it is this deficit spending, this insanity that here we'll just give everyone money, and maybe they'll be quiet. They'll be quiet and just quarantine like good little subjects for another week or two or three. Do you think any of these people who are on TV, any of these people in Washington, give a shit that that 40% of the restaurants are going to be gone, in another 2 weeks or another month? Half the restaurants, by Memorial Day, will be gone. People that invested their life savings in these businesses are going to be broke. And the $1,200 is going to save them. Some loan that they can't even get because they can't get anyone, because the banks have run out of money. That's not going to save them. They have to say it's time to go back to work. Watch out for your grandparents. Watch out for people with underlying conditions. Don't go near them. They don't have to go back to work. If you're over 60, you don't go back to work. If you're over 300 pounds, you don't go back to work. You stay home and you quarantine until we either have a vaccine or this is gone naturally.
Okay, let's say it's a go. Let's say they come out today and they say, "Hey, Monday, all systems go. Economy's back open. Everything." What does Gerry Callahan's day look like? Do you get
go to the Legacy Club
with no mask on, no gloves on? You just
damn right.
All right, tell me what you think.
Why are we at the Legacy Club right now?
My hands. Obviously, you do the simple things. You wash your hands and you distance, and you don't be hugging and kissing people, and you wipe down surfaces, things like that. But that doesn't affect the economy. But of course, I would go, to a store. If it was, I'd go to Dick's Sporting Goods store for sure. If it opened up, maybe it won't. Maybe it'll go under, and everyone will be happy.
Why wouldn't you go to Dick's Sporting Goods? People will go to Home Depot and Market Basket and Walmart, but they won't go to Dick's. How does that make any sense?
It doesn't make any sense, but that's what the governor told us. The mayor told us. That's
right.
That's what Don Lemon told us. So idiots sit there and go, "We got to do our part. We can't go to the store. We can't go outside after 9 p.m. or we're all going to die."
Gerry,
you're right. It is a Bernie boner.
Yeah.
Because it is this authoritarian government that's in control here, and it is amazing how many people just fall in line and say, "Whatever you say, Mr. Governor, whatever you say, Mrs. Whitmer, you tyrant."
That idiot directing me, his name is Dr. Fauci, and he'll probably win the Nobel Peace Prize, and he's actually nominated as for sexiest man alive.
Which means nothing,
right?
By the way. Nobel Peace Prize. That means absolutely. Obama won it before he even stepped in office.
I assume once Carnival Cruise Line is back in business, you'll go on a cruise.
No, I won't go on a cruise. I will not go on a cruise. That's one thing I won't do.
March 9th, Dr. Fauci, St. Anthony himself, told us 1 month ago the cruises were safe. He told us a month and a half ago we had nothing to worry about. It's just like the seasonal flu. And you think he's all-knowing today, a month later? He doesn't know what he's doing. Neither does Birx. They're doing their best, but their models have been all wrong. They've been wrong about everything. Hell, Trump was quicker on the switch than Fauci, and Fauci doesn't give a damn about the economy. That's not his domain. What does he care if all these restaurants go out of business? He just cares about the virus. There's a balance here, and if we break, if we continue to drive this economy into the shitter, there's going to be this huge price to pay. I tweeted out a story yesterday about this problem they have. I'll find it. In this one city where their kids are getting abused, an abusive household. The kid was killed, like a 3-year-old was killed by his drunken stepfather. And they have this run on this rash of these domestic abuse stories. Not hearing much about it, but
DCF is not. They're not allowed to do home visits, which is absolutely insane because those are the most vulnerable people, and that's what's being forgotten a lot about this. I hate to be that person, but what about the children? Think about the children. Their lives are being. They're out. I mean, seniors in high school aren't getting a prom. They're not getting a yearbook. They're not getting all these things that they're just being robbed of it. But I guess they're older. They can handle it. But like the young kids, they're just having no interaction with children anymore or teachers or nothing. Like it's all gone. And Are we not thinking about them at all, about the mental effect this is having on children?
Absolutely not. We're not thinking, and you could sit there. You could. I'll say this for Trump. He always, again, throws a bone to the private sector. Always mentions the economy, but you could sit and watch, CNN all day. You won't hear anything about these problems with domestic violence. You won't hear about problems with, drug addiction, alcoholism. They come from unemployment. They come from losing your life savings.
Yeah.
They come from being forced to wait in a line at a food bank
Yeah.
for 3 hours because again, I'll say that whatever the guy working construction, the guy working landscape and painting, roofing can't go to work.
Yeah.
He has
Why
to go
can't
to
you
a
golf?
line at a
Why
food
can't?
bank
Is there?
instead.
Where do you think social distancing is easier, on a golf course or at Market Basket?
Right.
It's like, are you kidding me?
But
How does that make
I
any
say
sense?
it every day. I say it every day, and I'm going to continue to say it. It is insane that the guy in Boston who works in construction can't go to work, but he can go to Home Depot, which is packed all day. He's crowding in Home Depot, in lines, waiting in lines with other people because he has nothing else to do. He can't be up, on the the 73rd floor of some skyscraper, putting in a window, but he can be at Home Depot or Lowe's or Walmart. You think he's doing everything in his power to stop the spread? No, he's doing everything in his power to find a way, to get through this and feed his family and pay his bills.
Jerry, there's a high school in Worcester South High School. It was in construction right now. It's supposed to be ready for September. Well, guess what? It's not going to happen now. They stopped doing construction on the building, which makes no sense. There's no reason they can't be out there putting the building together. You could stay 6 feet apart while you're doing it. And now the entire project. So this is going to affect for a whole year. The school's not going to exist, and they're going to have to make do for a whole other year. I'm sure there's stories like that all across the country, and that's what happens with this just blanket, lock it down. We have to lock everything down. No, we never had to lock everything down. There's some stuff, yeah, we can lock some stuff down, like the NBA and NHL canceling. That was a good thing, right? Because those were literally disease factories. Gyms are a disease factory. I get all of that. But some of this stuff, it's like, you have to think, do we really need to close golf courses? Is that really necessary? How does that possibly stop the spread of the disease? And the answer, of course, is that it doesn't. That people aren't dying.
It doesn't. I mean, people don't care. They say, who gives a shit about golf? It's just golf. But it's the thought process. And I say it again. If you can't explain to me how it stops the virus, then we should be able to do it. Again, if you can explain to me how walking my dog at 10 o'clock at night stops the virus, I won't do it. Can anyone do that? Of course not. Can the mayor, can Dr. Fauci tell me how me walking my dog alone at 10 p.m., how that spreads the virus? No, they can't. And how you can, again, walk on a golf course, but you can't golf on a golf course. Can you explain that to me? Can you tell me, Governor Whitmer, how someone buying a toy or some seeds, how that spreads the virus? If you can't, you're just out of control. You're just this power hungry tyrant who's looking for ways to expand your powers.
Yeah, like will the Raiders stadium be ready for next year, since they're not doing construction on it? Like in the Rams and the Chargers, I guess.
And to be honest with you, it is true. There's not going to be big crowds for a long, long time. Maybe not till there's a vaccine. Maybe you won't have 70,000 people at Gillette Stadium until there is a vaccine. But that doesn't mean you can't play. That doesn't mean they can't play games with no crowd or small crowd, or just play for TV reasons. So why can't you do that?
That's not going to go over well in Alabama, Jerry. I'm telling you right now. If you tell the people down there they can't have football in a red state, where there are probably a lot of people down there having the same conversations we're having right now, except they're doing it in front of your voices, that's not going to go over too well with them. You can't take away football from these people.
All right, this is the story I was referring to. A 3-year-old boy who died of severe abuse on Easter Sunday is the third child in less than a month to die at Cook's Children's Hospital due to severe child abuse. Amari Boone was taken to the hospital Friday morning and later died of injuries on Easter Sunday. He had fractured ribs, 2 broken arms, bleeding on his brain, and bruises. His death has been ruled a homicide according to Fort Worth police. This is the third time in a month Fort Worth has seen a child die of abuse in his home. Now, would that kid have died? And Christ, they have a picture of him too. Would that kid have died if his father, mother, stepfather, whoever had a job and money and food on the table? Maybe, who knows? But this is the kind of thing that they don't take into account. That this is the kind of thing that that even Fauci, and I like Fauci. Fauci seems like a good guy, a decent guy who means well, but he's not looking at things like that. He's looking strictly at the virus. He's getting everything wrong, but he's looking strictly at the virus and saying, how do we stop the spread?
Your
He's
friend,
the one that said maybe 4-6 months.
Your
I mean, that's
friends
insane.
your friends at the Boston Globe did a good story on this the other day about the herd. Did you see that one? And this
I
is
don't see the Globe.
The Globe did a story about.
It cost $1 for every 6 months.
Well, I just saw the headline. I didn't actually click on it, and you can find out what an article's about, but just by reading the comments, and people will talk about the most angry parts of it and stuff like that. But the argument, and a lot of people are making this argument. You heard this theory about the herd. The herd, what is it called? The herd theory.
The herd immunity.
Herd immunity, yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, and what do you think of that?
Of course.
Are you pro herd?
Yes,
of
course.
Me too. Yeah.
That's how kids, if they went to school, if they went to daycare, they would be covered. They would be immune by now.
And I'll tell you, the herd, that theory is no different. It's a projection, right? It's no different from the theories that Birx and Fauci are putting forward. Like, they're all theories. We don't know facts. Nobody knows exactly what's going to happen. So why can't we experiment why do we have to experiment with this thing and not this thing?
Well, here's the problem is when we do go back, whenever that is, there might be, 50 million unemployed by then. The economy might be totally destroyed. It might be a Great Depression. The food lines might be even longer, but we'll go back and someone will die and immediately CNN will say Trump killed him. I mean, they're already doing that, saying Trump is killing people because of whatever, because he's Trump. But it's going to become it's going to remain totally politicized. And it's going to be all about, us versus them, the people that wanted to stay quarantined, people like, whoever, Fauci, or people like, anyone on the left, CNN, or, Pelosi, Schumer. They will say, see, we should not have opened up the economy. But I think I'm encouraged. Trump said 20 states are ready to go back. 20. That's like 40% of the country by state, not by population, I'm sure, and he said they're ready to open. They may open before May 1st. That will be a great day. That will give people hope, and it will drive the people on CNN insane.
And people, and the mere fact that these businesses will be filled shows you just how little the people are actually. I mean, and that's freedom. If you don't want to go to the restaurant because you're scared of coronavirus, then you don't have to go. That's literally the whole idea of freedom. It's just being. It's like, but I do want to take that chance. I should have a right to take a chance. Every time I get in my car, I'm taking a chance that I could get in a car accident and die, because 35,000 people a year die from that. People you go to college, right? I mean, think of all the loose women out there and all the men who don't care and they're not protecting and all this stuff. They're taking a chance, aren't they?
Everything is a calculation. Everything we do, you get out, you walk outside, you're taking a chance that you won't get hit by a car or won't get mud. I mean, think of things you do. You leave your house, you take a chance. Driving in a car, calling an Uber, those are risky things. You take a chance every day. Usually, you make it through okay. But this is just another thing. At some point, you're gonna have to say, maybe if I go out, even if you have a mask, even if you go out by yourself and maybe you'll get sick.
Maybe. Yeah.
Most people will be fine. Most people will come through it fine. That's what people don't want to admit. They don't want to. They don't understand. They don't care. They just want to do what they're told. It is scary. It is un-American. Yeah. And I hope, the tide is turning. God knows, it's still pretty grim today. And another 5.2 million filed for unemployment last week. 22 million people have filed for unemployment claims in the last 4 weeks. That is frightening. Does James Corden give a shit about that?
He's got his ice cream.
Not. Does Seth Meyers or any of those people care? Of course not. Nancy Pelosi doesn't care. They don't care. It hurts Trump, and it makes them feel compassionate. I care. If you let people go back to work, old people will die. So I care about them. Well, do you care about the 3-year-old in Fort Worth?
No.
Do you care about the people in that line at the food bank? Of course not. They care about this faux compassion. Look at me. I care about people, so I want to leave them locked in a windowless basement until we have a vaccine in 2 years.
Yeah,
it is madness. I hope there are more people like the people in Michigan and North Carolina and Kentucky who say, enough.
Jerry, I might
right.
I might lead a protest. I mean, luckily I got to give it to Governor Baker, right? I'm usually a critic is he hasn't been that authoritative about this. We're one of the less restrictive states. We're not making headlines for ridiculous edicts and stuff like that. But if this turned into, I mean, I would lead a Turtle Boy protest. I'm not even kidding. Eventually you have to reach your breaking point with this crap because my friend Laura from London, the resident socialist of the group here, she says it's about everyone. No, it's not about everyone. That's a lie. It's not about everyone. If it was about everyone, then people that are, it's not about, like you said, it's not about the kid getting abused. It's not about people who have lost their jobs and aren't getting their stimulus checks because the banks ran out of money because they gave it to all the big companies first. It's not about them. It's not. So stop with this we're all in this together crap. All this is doing is proving what a scam socialism is, because this idea that we'll all come together is a lie. We will not. Every man will fend for themselves.
True, and you're right. It's a choice, and I think Dave's right about one thing. I think it's gonna be tough for restaurants to come back, to up to the level they were at a month ago. They're gonna have to have fewer customers. They're gonna spread out the tables. They're gonna have some kind of dividers, and there's gonna be lots of people afraid to go to them. You might be able to go to the restaurant you could never get in now. Maybe that's a upside, but many of them who are on the margins anyway are gonna go under. And that person that invested his life savings in that restaurant, he's going to be in that line at the food bank, or he's going to be in that line at the unemployment office, or waiting to get his unemployment check. That's inevitable. But you're right. If you wanted to go to a friggin' furniture store, it should be your right. If the guy wants to open up his furniture store, it should be his right today, not June 10th. I mean, today it should be. We should have that freedom.
Why are we hearing about more closings? Like, why hasn't that happened yet? Are we only I feel like we're only paying attention to to your point, Turtle Boy. We're only paying attention to the trendy things in business, right? Like the insanely popular restaurant in Boston doesn't really have a care in the world because they were pissing money for so long, so they're okay. But the average restaurant, I know they care, but I mean, the average restaurant has what? They can survive 2 weeks. It's been way past 2 weeks. They don't have the cash.
It's true. We're gonna hear about. We heard about Fleming's along an old steakhouse in Boston. They're down. They're out. We heard like Macy's laid off 120,000. Dick's, as we mentioned, laid off, furloughed, whatever, tens of thousands. We heard about the big ones, but you're right. Look at that neighborhood.
Are you telling me like the local restaurant in Walpole Center can survive this right now off of like takeout orders that I'm still not even ordering because I'm a sissy?
Nope.
Like, there's no way.
Dave, none of that matters. Don't you get it? You want old people to die. Like, that's literally the trump card they play every time. It's like, no, it doesn't matter. Old people are dying. You want old people to die.
Why won't you order takeout? Do you think the takeout comes with the virus or something?
But you don't tip on it. You don't tip on that. The waitresses.
This is more part. This is just. It's not worth the battle with the wife. All this stuff is just not worth the battle with the wife. Let's put it that way.
You don't seem like a battler, Dave. I can't imagine you battling with your wife.
I'm not battling with my wife.
Yes.
No.
You seem like a good yes
She
man.
won't let you order like a pizza. I don't understand.
She's just not a fan of it right now. Let's put it that way.
Why not?
Because I have asthma, so she thinks I'm way more vulnerable. Did you see that story that like when you get this, like basically like a slime covers
like
your lungs? Yeah, like a paint covers your lungs.
Paint covers your lungs.
Dude. So give me some credit. Don't call me quarantine Cullinane for no reason. I mean, if slime covers these asthma lungs here, I'm done. You guys, you don't have a producer anymore, all right? This show's over.
Are there examples of otherwise healthy 30-year-olds who are dying because they had asthma? I mean, there again, and I'm going to say this every day. It's amazing. There are more people over 100 who've died from this than under 30. It is not killing young people unless they're not well to begin with. And once more people understand that, they'll say, like Turtle Boy said, it's my call. I'm going to go out. I'm going to take a chance. You can't again go somewhere where you might infect an elderly person, but you sure as hell, can go to the whatever store, the shoe store, go out and buy a pair of sneakers. You go to the New Balance store and buy a pair of sneakers.
And how does that make any sense? I mean, I'd love to hear the complainers, the shutdown people. How do we justify that? Seriously, I'd love to hear from people.
Yeah, well, you got the
Yeah, I mean, the people. I'd like to hear in the comments. How do can I?
Comment line.
I'd like to hear from people. How can you justify, like, the idea that we can't? How can a golf course be open, not be open, but anyone can go to Market Basket for any reason and buy anything? I understand food is essential, but explain that to me. How are you less likely to get the friggin' virus at Market Basket than you are at a golf course?
It makes no sense. I said this yesterday, Turtle Boy. Why can't whatever Dick's Sporting Goods at the furniture store? Why can't they do the same thing that they're doing at the grocery store? They have, the lines where you can't get within 6 feet of the person in front of you. You have a cashier with the plastic in front of them, gloves, masks. Why does that work at a grocery store but doesn't work at a furniture store? I need someone to explain that to me. It's insane. And instead, we'll let that guy go under, the guy that owns that store.
So of course,
all those employees out of work, they'll all be on the food bank, the food line, and nobody gives a shit.
Okay, so they're saying their answer is because playing golf is not essential, and that was what I was expecting. Okay, so is buying a cake essential? Because you can go into Market Basket and buy a cake. Do we need to buy? Shouldn't we be, by your theory, people? By your theory, shouldn't it be bread and water and milk and crap? Why are we allowing people to buy things that aren't essential? There's certain things in a grocery store that are not essential. You can buy flowers in a grocery store for a loved one, right? You can buy a cake. There's a lot of crap you can buy in there that is not essential. You can live without it. But yeah, we let people buy it anyway. But because
don't you think they're there for the bread and milk? And if they want to buy a fucking cake, they'll grab a cake. Like, it's not. They're there for something else.
So shouldn't we be banning cake? Shouldn't we be banning things in stores that say you can't buy this over here because it's not essential?
That's probably
coming. That, Gerry? Can we do a story like somewhere? What was it? A Walmart? They blocked off certain aisles because they're just even non-essential. Yeah.
Yeah. People are saying you can't restrict. Okay, so we got a comment.
Michigan, they've decided to block off certain aisles of Walmart with yellow crime tape. And you can't buy anything, including seeds. So you can't plant your own garden. You can't buy a baby car seat for a car. You can't buy your kids some art supplies because they're losing their minds. You can't do that. And this governor, this tyrant, defends it. He said, no, that's not essential. I will decide what's essential and what isn't. And it's going to get worse. She's just one of many Democrat governors who are just aroused with their new power, and it's frightening. And some people care, like you and the Turtle Boy and people in Michigan yesterday, who were demanding that they be allowed to work. But that is a protest. You're demanding, just let me go to work.
Let me work. Let me make a living.
That's American. You want to talk about your founding fathers and your Tea Party patriots? That's American. Demanding that your governor. By the way, nobody's at fault here. Nobody lost a business. No one who lost a job is at fault. It is all the fault of the Chinese and their, puppets in the World Health Organization. No American is to blame here. Not Trump and not, Pelosi. We all reacted differently. Some were later than others, but everyone was late reacting. It is all the fault of the Chinese. The Chinese caused us trillions of dollars in economic damages. They cost lives. Tens of thousands of lives. These people aren't at fault. The people who are out of work, who lost their business, they're not at fault. Shouldn't we have more sympathy for them? That they're demanding that they be allowed to go back to work? Shouldn't that be a consideration if you are a compassionate person? It's amazing. It's like, I care a lot, so I'm going to keep you out of work. I'm going to ruin the economy because I care about people. The whole thing.
Well, they're going to pay you, Gerry. They're going to send you a check and everything's going to be fine, which is exactly what they want. There's a reason that red states are the ones pushing it and and blue states want to keep going, because this is exactly what Democrats are all about, right? Is the idea that, like, you need me. I'm the government. You need me to take care of you. And that's exactly what I claim to be doing. I'm not actually sending you a check. Just keep checking your email. But, we will keep taking care of you. This is what Democrats are built for, is a situation like this.
This is important, and we're going to talk about it every day until something, it is the biggest story in our lifetimes. I mean, it is bigger, as I think we've all agreed by now, bigger than 9/11. It's bigger than, wars.
Bigger than 9/11?
It is bigger than 9/11, yes. 9/11 was, it didn't destroy the economy, didn't send us into a Great Depression. It was an attack by Islamic fundamentalists. We went to war as a result, but we understood it. We understood the enemy, and we defeated the enemy. In this case,
We did not defeat
there's
the
so
enemy.
much.
We did not defeat
There's so
the enemy.
much we don't know. We are literally listening to experts every day who don't know what they're talking about. We know now that Fauci and Birx have been wrong about everything. We respect them. They're doing their best. They're trying. They certainly know more than you or I, but they've been wrong about everything. It is frightening, and there's no end in sight. As we know, there'll be no big sporting events. We know there'll be no campaign rallies. There'll be no concerts for
Gerry, I think the NBA playoffs
are the biggest story of our life.
The NBA playoffs are going to happen. I honestly think that the way they're talking about.
Not like we know them.
No, but it will exist. There will be an NBA champion this year, don't you think?
If they have that little silly tournament in Vegas, I guess. I guess. I mean, I don't know if I'll watch it, but
You would? Are you kidding me? You wouldn't watch that?
I respect them for trying. Baseball is going to go to Arizona and quarantine everyone and play, some big tournament. I respect them for trying to get their business back and trying to, return to some normalcy. But it's not going to work. I mean, it's not going to feel right. Isn't that the whole problem here? Nothing feels right. When you go to the store, grocery store, when you
I feel like I'm
when
living.
You walk outside, walk down the street, it feels so eerie.
Yes.
It feels so tense. And neighbors are ratting out neighbors, calling 911 on people because they went to someone's house and there was more than 3 people there, or they threw a ball in a park. That to me is one of the more un-American things where neighbors are ratting out neighbors. And it's good for Turtle Boy. It's good for
it's not good
TV
for me.
Daily News.
I mean, for views it is, but not for I survive on ad revenue and stuff like that. And it's an economy. If people have less disposable income, they're less likely to buy stuff in the store. That's just how an economy works. Everybody is affected by it.
Everyone.
Everybody.
I mean, it's killing radio. I mean, radio could be hurt more than anyone besides restaurants. I mean, they're losing all their advertising. Nobody's in their cars. Nobody's listening. There's no sports. Sports radio this might be the death of sports radio. They're getting they had the numbers in New York yesterday. They were dismal. They're getting them in Boston today. It's going to be worse. It could be the death of my former business.
Wouldn't that be a shame?
Who's be off. We'll have a funeral for them. But
no.
Who's not hurting, Turtle Boy?
Who?
Who's not? Shea Concrete. My guys at Shea Concrete, they're in business. They're open. They're cranking. All those guys that go to Home Depot and Lowe's, they can only go to Home Depot for so long. Then you got to say, when they let me go back to Merck, what am I going to do? Who am I going to call? Who's going to help me? I can tell you can help you. Shea Concrete, they can help you. They're a 4th generation owned and operated business. It's working hard day in and day out to be your trusted precast concrete partner. If you're a contractor, let me tell you some of the things Shea can deliver to your job site ready for installation whenever you're ready. They're ready. They're ready now. When you're ready, you can call them. They can take care of so many things. Water and wastewater products, underwater stormwater systems, underground stormwater systems, barriers and bullets, stairs and bulkheads, deck footings, electrical and communication products. The list goes on and on. Shea Concrete can do it all. If you're an engineer, they can help you even more. They can help you design your next project. I've seen these guys. They get a bunch of these really smart engineers. They sit at their computers and they figure things out. They help you out. Give them a call for more information or for an estimate. Or just log on to SheaConcrete.com. Go see them today. Shea Concrete.
You see Elon? Go ahead.
Lots of crazy stories. Many of them you can read on Turtle Boy's blog that come out of, a pandemic. Sometimes they're funny. This story I just heard this morning. This was in New Haven, Connecticut. The cops arrested a guy, and I knew this was coming in some form where people were going to break into closed up restaurants. It's going to happen in those states like Pennsylvania where they shut down the liquor stores in Pennsylvania. And neighboring states like Ohio aren't allowing people with Pennsylvania licenses to buy liquor. So there are people in Pennsylvania with no jobs, and they got nothing to do, and they can't get their hands on a beer. They can't get their hands on a bottle of booze. That's a recipe for trouble. Well, a guy in New Haven had a solution. He broke into a restaurant, and he stayed in the restaurant for 4 days. He slept, he ate their food, he drank their booze. And the restaurant owner said they're missing 70 bottles of booze. So he was hardcore, this guy, or maybe...
How did they not get caught after 4 days? No
Well,
guys
the
in there.
restaurants are closed. He just stayed in there and he ate. They had food. They had booze. They probably turned on the TV. I mean, that
How is their
oftentimes
food? With the fridges running and stuff like that? Like they didn't.
I'm sure there were food that, certain foods that don't go bad, like canned foods. I mean, I don't know. Maybe he wasn't picky. Maybe he ate olives and maraschino cherries for 4 days. But, that's what you do when you're losing your mind and you're stir crazy. That won't be the last story of this, of people breaking in restaurants looking for food and booze. Those are going to be regular items in the police log and on the Turtle Boy blog. You should get to the bottom of that. You got connections in New Haven. Get the details. How did he drink 70 bottles, or did he just steal some? Because I don't know.
They have
Even if
great
you're
pizza in
hardcore-
New Haven. New Haven's excellent pizza. You ever been down there?
Yes, I've seen the
Yes.
lists of these, the various publications that do best pizza
Yeah.
in the country, and there's like 3 or 4 places from New Haven that's in top 20.
I don't know why we can't make pizza like our pizza in Massachusetts sucks. It doesn't matter where you live. The pizza
I went
sucks.
to Pizzeria Regina yesterday for my son's birthday. Got a couple of pies, took them home. They were awesome. That is top 20, in the world. Pizzeria Regina.
Well, we don't have that in Worcester. We have freaking Holden Pizza and Pat's Pizza, and every single pizza up here has to be owned by a grumpy Greek dude.
We got lots of things to get to, but let's rate the
apologize.
pizza in Worcester.
Yeah, let's tell.
I tell you.
Well, it's a
another
problem.
One of my favorites. I don't know if you've ever had Tripoli pizza. It's a North Shore thing, and it's really good, sweet pizza. They got busted in Salisbury Beach. That's one of their stores, for not having their customers social distance and the proper distance apart when they were like lined up for pizza. The cops busted them because the people waiting for the pizza were too close together. Doesn't that stuff just give you the creeps that you're sitting there trying to do your job, keep your business afloat, and here come the cops measuring how close people are to each other?
Totally not tyranny. This is perfectly normal. This is a great country to live in, and but it's okay because you don't want old people to die. If you're against that, you want old people to die. Period.
All right, a couple more things we got to get to. I was happy to see Dennis Miller back. He's been off Fox News for 3 years because he was O'Reilly's guy when they got rid of O'Reilly. Because he was, I don't know, raping people and stuff.
Yeah, something like that.
Dennis Miller, apparently, I don't know if it was a sign of solidarity. I don't know why, but he went away for 3 years. He came back last night. He was great. He made me laugh out loud, making fun of Sleepy Joe Biden. I don't know if we have any Dennis Miller sound, or maybe it's just me, but I just think he's still got it.
Hang on my computer, Doc. I got it.
I see he's trending. I don't know what
you could put it in. You could put it in later.
Oh, yeah, I got it if you want it, but my computer was locked up. So hang on.
Sure. Yeah, locked up. Yeah.
It was what?
Bugs, viruses.
See, it's still locked up. Okay.
And things have changed over there. I noticed Donna Brazil sent over tonight's questions for me this afternoon, so they must have had some sort of shakeup over there. What I do today, I've been lying around all day, wasting away in Mitigationville. I've got a couple steaks over here marinated in some hydroxychloroquine. Going to knock back a couple azithromycin Jello shooters later, and then I'm going to binge watch Aqualung Biden's blooper reel from this week. I can't believe that people are endorsing this guy. I know he lost his fastball, but I've been watching him lately. I think he's lost his curve. I think he lost his slider, and I think he's wearing his cup as an N95 mask. Should be
I'm sorry. I think he's great, and when he wants to be. I've heard his podcast. He doesn't always put in the hard day's work for the podcast, but when he wants to be, he's great, and he's very, very polarizing. I mean, I tweeted about it was good to have him back, and I got like thousands of responses, half of which hate him.